The federal investigation so far has shown that the guards who were supposed to be guarding Jeffrey Epstein the night that he apparently killed himself falsified logs to make it appear that they had checked on him when in fact they had not.
And the significance of that?
The significance of that is we now know that a period of several minutes, if not longer, went by without anybody checking on Mr. Epstein. It's not clear yet exactly how much time he had, but certainly if the 30-minute checks that were regularly intended were not made, he would have had some window to harm himself. Earlier today, the Associated Press confirmed that the federal investigators are also investigating whether the guards assigned to monitor Epstein were sleeping at the time that they were supposed to be monitoring him and conducting regular checks. New developments today in the fight against Jeffrey Epstein's legal estate. A woman who claims that she was repeatedly raped by Jeffrey Epstein as a teenager filed a lawsuit against his estate and several of his associates, claiming that they participated in a sex trafficking ring. This is one of several lawsuits that are anticipated to be filed under a new New York law that goes into effect today, actually allowing the victims of sexual abuse 1 year to file civil claims that date back decades. About 6:30 this morning, officials at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan discovered Jeffrey Epstein, the wealthy financier, unresponsive in his cell in the special housing unit. He was taken to a local hospital in Manhattan where he was pronounced dead. An autopsy is expected to be conducted later today. Attorney General William Barr in Washington issued a statement saying he was appalled that Epstein managed to commit suicide while in federal custody awaiting trial on sex trafficking and conspiracy charges. The FBI is investigating Mr. Epstein's death, and Attorney General Barr has ordered the Department of Justice's Inspector General to conduct its own inquiry into the matter. There are several unanswered questions at this time. Mr. Epstein had previously been on suicide watch following another incident a couple of weeks ago in which he sustained injuries to his neck. The authorities were already investigating how he came to receive those injuries, and at that point in time he had been placed on suicide watch. But the Associated Press reporting today that Mr. Epstein had been removed from suicide watch before he was found unresponsive. It also is worth mentioning that Mr. Epstein's death came a day after more than 2,000 pages of records were released in a related civil matter, including several explosive and salacious allegations involving Mr. Epstein. And several prominent world leaders, American businessmen's names also emerged in those documents.
President Donald Trump is someone who has really trafficked in conspiracy theories for many years, long before he ended up in the Oval Office. This is, of course, the man who was really the driver behind the lie that Barack Obama was not a U.S. citizen, was not born in the United States. Trump has always gotten energized and kind of excited by some of these conspiracies. You know, when you're a private citizen, though, that is one thing. When you're doing that as president of the United States, it's a whole other thing. The megaphone that you have as president gives you just this enormous platform to really push conspiracies. And we have seen that in office, Trump really hasn't shied away from using that huge platform to dispense misinformation, to raise things that are floating around on some of the fringes of the internet.
Do you really think the Clintons are involved in Jeffrey Epstein's death? I have no idea. I know he was on his plane 27 times, and he said he was on the plane 4 times. But when they checked the plane log, Bill Clinton, who is a very good friend of Epstein, he was on the plane about 27 or 28 times. Epstein had an island that was not a good place, as I understand it, and I was never there. So you have to ask, did Bill Clinton go to the island? That's the question. If you find that out, you're going to know a lot.
Often what he will do is he will sort of raise a question. He will say, you know, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's something that people are talking about. So he has a little bit of deniability, saying, hey, I never said that was right. I just said it was something that people are talking about. One of the other ways that he does that is in retweets. It's something that he is pushing forward using his enormous platform on Twitter to promote. It's not in his own words, which gives him a little bit of deniability around that. And we saw this as he was leaving for a rally in Pennsylvania, where he basically defended retweeting a conspiracy theory involving Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, he's a very highly respected conservative pundit. He's a big Trump fan. That was a retweet. That wasn't from me. That was from him. But he's a man who has 500,000 followers, a lot of followers. Well, I'm only involved from the standpoint of they are very anti-Jewish and they're very anti-Israel. I think it's disgraceful, the things they've said. You have lists of, this isn't just a one-line mistake. What they've said about Israel and Jewish people is a horrible thing, and they've become the face of the Democrat Party. So I did absolutely put out a very strong statement. I think if you look at their language, if you look at what they've said, if I ever said it, it would be a horrible month, to put it mildly. So the things that they've said, Omar, Tlaib, what they've said is disgraceful. So I can't imagine why Israel would let them in. But if they want to let them in, they can, but I can't imagine why they would do it. No, I don't encourage or discourage. I think that if Israel allowed them to come in for the normal reasons, other than those reasons, I really believe that it would be a terrible thing for Israel. I think it would show a terrible sign. They want to do boycotts. They said horrible things about Jewish people. They said horrible things about Israel and Israelis. I think it would be a terrible thing, frankly, for Israel to let these two people who speak so badly about Israel come in. And they have become, amazingly, the face of the Democrats. The Democrats don't want to do anything to condemn them. If this were 10 years ago, or if this were maybe a different time or different people or whatever, they would be condemned for the things they've said. They've said some of the worst things I've ever heard said about Israel. So how can Israel say, oh, welcome? I don't think it would be a good thing for Israel.
He said we didn't even want to fight. Nobody wants to fight. You know, we just was like, please just leave us alone. We don't want to fight. Go that way. Go another way.
At around 4:30 today, officers were serving a narcotics warrant in a house in the 3600 block of North 15th Street. They had already entered the premises and got towards the rear, the kitchen area, when gunfire erupted.
But they really shooting at the cops!
There are 6 police officers who were struck by gunfire.
They shooting at the cops!
3750, the city officer, shots fired, shots fired. Car stand by. 50 officer, police priority. Shots fired. 3700 North 15 to 50 officer, police by radio. Shots fired.
Crazy 10180. Shots still ringing off. Give me SWAT ASAP. Long gun ASAP.
I can see him. I don't know who he is.
We are very, very lucky.
I thought it was really fast and definitely felt like a motorcycle at top speed. I liked the sturdiness to it and the build quality. It was actually really fun. I would say the power to it is definitely the first thing that I noticed, and also the smoothness of the ride. I've tried the Mini X before, and I've never skated before, so I thought that would be pretty cool. But since the wheels are pretty small and my ankles take most of the shock, I want to like try out the bigger wheels on an electric scooter instead. And this is definitely something I'd probably buy. I'm looking forward to like cruising this, even like when I'm not commuting to work, just having fun with it.
Yeah, it was a really cool scooter. I've never ridden a scooter before, so this was my first time and it was awesome. I like that there's 3 speeds. I tended to use the first speed because that was what I was comfortable with. But I like that the second and third speeds were not that intense, and I like that I could learn pretty easily. I've never been on a scooter before, and then by the end of the time, I was zooming all around.
So yeah, it was smooth, fun, had really good pickup. When you're in the third mode and you pull the throttle, you really feel it, which is really kind of fun. I didn't feel out of control at all.
$1,600, you said? I mean, I wish I could afford that. I can't, but I think it's fair for the quality of the scooter and how long you'd use it, and the different features, the safety. I think the price tag is kind of accurate.